Hey, I'm back on. It is 4:40 here, and probably gonna work for I don't know 3 or 4 more hours, probably till about 9 p.m., maybe earlier. See how it goes. Holy cow, Sarah passed the CPQ exam. That's pretty cool. CPQ was one of the harder exams for me, but I definitely learned the most while doing that one. Summer 24 sneak peek new mobile app features. What is that? Enhanced contacts beta. Landscape support on phones. Cool. Interesting. Sam's been on both sides of the consulting versus in-house Salesforce admin developer stuff. Yep. Consulting on managed services is a good way to get a lot of experience really quickly. Those types of jobs, you're usually jumping in like 10 different orgs every week. I forgot to get a water. I'll be back. Hmm. Wow. Get busy living. I'm gonna have to check this out. 620 TMJ. This is pretty cool. It's tomorrow. 11:35. To put it on my calendar here. Looks like I should be able to make it. Let's see. GBL 620 TMJ. All right, that is on the calendar. And also, I guess the big question is, can you have a big problem that only takes 10 minutes to fix? I would say yes. Big problems can have easy fixes. Learn Salesforce flows. Daryl designed a course. CertifyCRM.com. Let's check it out. CertifyCRM.com. I should probably look into the advanced administrator one. Looks interesting. Okay. Time to work on the app some more. Hey, welcome to the stream. Oh, I don't know if I just got the chat messages late, but it says, could you do some really basic dev work that an admin would do as a junior dev? Really basic dev work that an admin would do as a junior dev. Okay, so I picture you're an admin that has a lot of experience trying to get into the development side of things. And where do you start? Some people might say that you should focus on the flows, get really good at flows, because sometimes even admins have a hard time grasping some of the concepts in flows because it's a lot of just logic um, that isn't all that straightforward for some people. I don't know. Mm. Junior dev work. Junior dev work to me means that you need to have a lot of guidance. So, trying to implement something that's already very well defined would be something that a junior does. So, an example would be like if someone were to tell you to create an LWC component and everything is all laid out, like they tell you exactly what needs to be on the screen. and how to fetch the data, and you just need to do it. You just need to execute on it. That would be junior work that that an admin could do. So using VS Code, yeah, I would definitely start with Apex and LWC. I would probably avoid triggers, but just creating Apex functions that can serve data to LWC. And yeah, I can do some of that right now for you if you want. Although I don't have a good way to. I'd have to create an org. Let's see. I think I might have an org set up to do LWC in the sandbox here. Maybe this one. Let me open up VS Code and see if I've got something here. Yeah, I do. Yeah, this will work. I just need a way to share it now. Let me add this to OBS. Let's see. How am I going to do this? So I'll add a screen capture. Oh, here it is. Oh, I need a better setup for this. Let's see. It's weird. I don't see VS Code in my list. Why is that? Oh, it's just called code. Okay. Okay. So let's see. What was I doing in here? It looks like I was doing some scanning, document scanning. Close all this. So inside of VS Code, you would create a LWC component. Create a lightning web, and we'll call this demo. Okay. So as a junior, you should be able to create the shell, definitely, of a Lightning Web component. So I'll just put like hello world. So you basically have your screen. This is what the user sees. You've got JavaScript that can call out to Apex, and then you'll have to write Apex to serve up data. You should be able to do all these as a junior. There's lots of places to find examples of how to do this stuff. In order for me to add this component, I have to say it's true, and I have to give it some sort of target that it can reference. And this is using Copilot to fill that in automatically. So what I'll do is just create a app page, and I'll just throw the component on the screen. So I'll deploy this. Well, you can't see in the right menu. I'm right clicking. I right clicked and said deploy, but that doesn't show up in OBS for some reason. And I've got an error. So what am I missing here? Oh, this tests. These tests are always wonky for me. I usually just delete them. And we'll deploy. So after I get this component on the screen, I'll create an Apex class to serve up data to it. And I mean, that is basically LWC 101. So if I go into, boy, how am I going to make this go on and off? If I go into my org, then I'll create an app page. Call it junior dev test. I'll just leave the default layouts. But at the bottom of these components, I should see here's my app demo. So I'll drop it on there, save it, activate it. I should have given it. I thought there was a spot I had to give it permission of which profiles could access it, but maybe I'm thinking of something else. So I don't see anything. So that's weird. So I'm gonna go back into my component. I just hit save on the HTML and then redeployed it. And I'll refresh. Okay, so now it's displaying. So I probably just didn't save the HTML. Okay, so now I'll create an Apex class. Oh, so I'm right clicking in the menu and I'm selecting create Apex class. I can't really show the right mouse menu for some reason. Maybe if I, I'm not really set up for it, but so I'll give this a file name of junior dev demo class. We've got the class. I'll create some function. We'll return a list. Well, let's just return a what do I have in this org? I have accounts in this org, so I'll return one account, and I'll say get account, and I'll say just select the first account that it can find, and I'll return that. So I'll return select ID and name from account ordered by create a date. So this is going to give you the newest account, and it's just going to grab the first one, return it. Don't need that. And deploy it. Deploys. So then to reference this from LWC, you go into that JavaScript and you add an import at the top here. And it's not the name of the class, it's the name of the function. So get account. And then it's Salesforce Apex, the name of the class. So this is an example where Copilot puts bad stuff in here, so I have to fix it. So it should have really been that. Name of the class, name of the function. So now when the page loads, you get this connected callback thing. And if you create an override for that function, you can then do stuff in it. So I'm going to call get account, which is that. And when it finishes, I'm going to, well, right now it's just logging, but we'll set like the name of the account. So we'll say account name. We'll create a variable at the top that's just null to start with. Actually, we'll say it's an empty string to start with. When it finishes, it's going to set this account name equal to the result, which is the data that came back. Take its name and stick it in there. So now we need to display this on the HTML side. And the way you do that is by using the handlebar syntax like that. And it's just the name of your variable. So this thing in handlebars, we'll just look for a public thing on the class, and we'll just fill it with it. So let's see what my error was. I deployed it, unable to find this Apex method. Not sure why. Public static. Maybe I don't have permission to it. So let me double check permissions in here. Where is it? There it is. So system admin has permission. Oh, it needs to be made available to LWC. So you do that by decorating with Aura enabled. Yeah. Deploy that. Oh, I wasn't showing that. In VS Code, I should have made my text bigger too. So Aura enabled needs to be on the function. And now I'll try to deploy this again. Okay, now deployed. So now if I look at my page. Refresh. So there's the account. And you could see it kind of flickered in. So first it had account and then it filled that in like a split second later because that's how long it took for the connected callback to actually call into it. So I would say, I mean, if you can do this, you're definitely junior dev capable and should be able to qualify for most junior dev jobs. It definitely helps being admin certified. I've been on a lot of projects where the devs really didn't know the admin side at all. So anytime there was a problem, they always looked for like coding ways to fix things instead of just like adding validation rule or changing some configuration or leveraging more of the out of box functionality. So in my opinion, it's much better to have a dev person that started as an admin or at least has that admin experience. So with this type of thing, so I would say the next step then is once you've started learning how to do this, most of the time you don't want to be creating everything from scratch. And you really need to start learning all of the out-of-box components that come with LWC. So for example, there's like a card component. So if I wanted to make that hello world look a lot better, instead of just slapping this text in here, I could insert a lightning card. A lightning card. And then put this text inside of that, I guess. Then end the card. Then I'll deploying that. So now already that's looking more like a real Salesforce component. Can I create videos with examples similar? Yeah, I can. Yeah, in fact, I have a friend that is a regular developer, like more traditional type of developer, like Microsoft Stack, that is interested in getting into Salesforce. And actually, I was supposed to help him yesterday and completely forgot. But the plan is to walk him through all the basics of doing developer work on the platform, and I'll record it, and then I'll take those recordings and chop them up into smaller videos and post them on the channel. So the idea was I could train someone up once and then let everyone benefit from it to try to multiply my efforts. But the downside is that I'm clearly not an instructor, and I'm not a good speaker. So these videos are going to be very rough. But I don't know. Maybe they'll be useful. Maybe they won't. But so it was supposed to happen today and it didn't. So I need to reschedule with the guy. But I hope to do that soon within the next couple of weeks. Really, it just depends on how our schedules line up. But yeah, I would love to. So thanks for asking to do that. If you have specific topics, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll definitely be writing them down here and make sure that I go over them. But I was going to actually need to set him up and show him like how to create an org, like a dev org, show him how to set up Visual Studio, show him how to set up SFDX, teach him how to connect VS Code to the org so you can like move the stuff back and forth, and like how to use the org browser, like this thing to download components. and then show him, okay, now that we have the tools set up, how do you start using them to write Apex code, write LWCs, write triggers, explain to him how to bulkify triggers, show him how to create invocable actions or invocable methods that a flow can call, so that and just how to code those in general, and probably how to make HTTP callouts, and probably how to create a REST service so that other people can call into your code and you can do things. I think that's probably all of the stuff that I had planned on covering with him, like in maybe 1 or 2 days, 1 or 2 mornings, and just see if any of that resonates with him. What would be the benefit of LWC rather than just using OOB function from the app builder out of the box? Well, you in general, you want to use out of the box as much as you can, but I mean, sometimes there's very custom things that you need. So, for example, on one project, we wanted to have a component that did a graphical representation of the levels of a tank. So we wrote a custom component for that. There was another one where we wanted to have on a project I'm on right now, we have a form that has like 300 plus fields of data entry. And to try to have just out of the box page layouts or flows to try to manage those number of fields is very painful. So we're coming up with a more rich data entry system to let a user fill in all those 300 fields by breaking them up into sections that can be quickly open and closed, and things are compact. So there's that. I mean, there's lots of the thing that I had open here. I bring open VS Code. Looking at what I was doing before, what was my demo in here? LWC. I was doing a scan document. So on a mobile app, you can create an LWC component and use there's some mobile API things where you can scan, take an image and have it scan the text out of an image. You have to write a custom LWC to do that. There's also like NFC tag stuff that you can do. So I don't know. I guess in general is if you can't do it out of the box, then just code it. But with Salesforce, you can do an awful lot out of the box. And I would say in like 90% of the use cases, you don't have to write any code. But you got to be willing to just live with the Salesforce interface the way it is and not complain about it. I've been on some projects where the team was made up of all developers, and they had the mindset of everything needed to be coded, and you should not use flows for anything, because when you commit your flows to source control, it's very hard to do a code review on what the flow is doing because it's all complicated XML. Compared to if it was all written in code, then doing a code review is much easier. And then I've been at other places that are the exact opposite, where they would say, you need to get special approval to write any code, and everything should be done with flows. So it's depends on the company that you're helping and what they're. It's usually not related at all to like the goodness of the tech. It's always like these other things, like what talent they have in their business, what the experience is of other people that have to support it when you're done. Yeah, it's a little strange. Any resources to recommend for junior devs? There's a YouTube channel. Let me see if I can find it. It's like straight from Salesforce. It's probably called like Salesforce Dev or something. Salesforce Developer. Salesforce Developers. So let's see what happens if I try to open this.
Whenever I start to talk about the Trailblazer community,
Yeah, this thing. I would recommend starting to watch all these videos. I mean, these people know exactly what they're doing. The problem is like where do you start? Getting started with Apex. That sounds like a good place to start. And then get started with Lightning Web Components. These are probably two really good spots to start.
Yes, awesome. So I'm Satyasekhar, a developer advocate with Salesforce. So if you are referring to Lightning Web Components documentation and connect them all together, and we are going to build all of this stuff here in the central part. Now, I want to select whatever target, wherever I want to show it. Here you can see different options. I can show it in an app page.
It goes over the targets.
Right there. So let me manage package, and if that manage package has Lightning Web Components in it, so let's activate where you can go and so each of the examples in this LWC recipes app example at the bottom. What is that component? How you can use that component?
Yeah, the component library is, like I said, with the Lightning cards, you gotta. It's kind of a lot about knowing what components are out there. So it's a LWC component library is what I search for. And you always have to be careful not to get mixed up with the Aura. You always want to look at the Lightning Web Components. So knowing what each of these components does is what it's about. So the more you know, the easier your life will be. So I would spend as much time as you can just going through each one of these. So the card is the one that I was showing. So it gives you the example of how to do it. Gives you all the documentation. So yep, you got these are all the building blocks for LWC. But if you're just starting out, definitely subscribe to this Salesforce developers YouTube channel and start watching all the content. And then start building, build like crazy. So yeah, like if you're trying to get into it, then just do everything in LWC for the heck of it, even though you could do it out of the box. Because then you'll learn. I don't mean do it in your real projects, but like when you come home from night after dinner and you're sitting around, spin up some LWC codes. Yeah, AI is not going to replace you. It's just a code assist. I don't know if it'll ever replace us. I mean, it is getting really good, but I can show some more and show you like where it falls apart right now. Let me bring open. Or are the Salesforce requests usually in need of human intervention? Yeah, it's the AI stuff just isn't good enough right now. It's like I equate it to being as good as a intern, less than a junior developer. You always have to fix it. It never does it right. How did I lose the resizing of all this? Okay, so if I'm in Apex class, I have the GitHub Copilot extension installed in here, and that's what's giving me all this type ahead stuff. This is AI that's predicting what I want to do. So I can tell it to create a function that returns a certain amount of data. So how about I'll say, give me accounts that are the top 5 largest number of employees. Have number. So there's a field called number of employees. I'll say, and I don't know if it knows about it or not, but I'll ask it, give me like my accounts where give me the top 3 companies sorted by number of employees. So I'll say create an Apex function to return the top 3 accounts by number of employees. So it's making it or enabled, cacheable. That's cool. So I can wire it. It named it get accounts by employee counts. That's pretty good. And I'm just hitting tab. So let's see the function that it created. So it knew about the number of employees function or by, yeah, I mean, it did it. So I guess maybe this isn't a good example to demonstrate why it's horrible. This is actually proving your point that we're not going to be needed. So yeah, it deployed. It did a good job in this one. I did give it a very simple thing to do though. Usually it does things wrong and I have to fix it. If I tell it to do things that are very difficult to do, it will just make something up. Like I wonder if I tell it to connect to some API, if it will know how to do that. But I don't know a popular API out there. I don't know what's a popular API to connect to. Is there like a time server? That's probably a dated thing. Let's see, free APIs. I don't know. I don't know any good APIs to call that are free. To call about LinkedIn. Get my list of connections. Yeah, so this is nonsense. So it's created a function called get my connections that creates a new string and just returns it. I mean, it left out this whole thing in here. So it doesn't know how to do it. How much Java experience is needed to improve or have a good understanding of Apex? Well, I mean, you don't need to know Java specifically, but it helps to know object-oriented programming. You don't have to know all the ins and outs of it, but you can do all the basic like building of classes and whatnot inside of Apex. So you can, I've seen people make very complicated frameworks inside of Apex, but like when you're doing this stuff where you're just having LWC call Apex to get data, I mean, you don't really need to know much. But yeah, I mean, it's a good point because if you don't know how to program at all, you don't understand classes, and you got to learn all that stuff. It's not specific to Apex, but you have to know how to do it. So that's like programming 101 and 201. Like programming 101 is you're going to learn like all these like how to declare a variable, how to write a function, how to do loops, how to do conditional branching, all that programming 101 stuff you got to know. And then like a 201 where you're doing like data structures and object models and things like that. Yeah, you got to know that stuff. It's a good point. But I think all that stuff is you can. There's lots of YouTube videos to learn that stuff. Probably find one in a second. Programming 101.
What's the first thing you should do when your code throws an error? Obviously, you should relate garbage to it. The algorithm that wreck it open on computer can use one keyboard in a the base 10 system.
This is way too low level detail. We don't need to know bits. Oh God.
Or can the memory address of another variable, which can be used for instead implement longer language. But typically you'll find int.
I know there's websites too that will teach you programming by making you program. Those are kind of neat. Learn to code 101 JavaScript. Oh, Code Academy. I don't want that. Coding Dojo, maybe. This also looks like a paid service, though. There are lots of free ones out there. Khan Academy, that's probably a good one. I think this one's probably good too. And I would go through the JavaScript one. Yeah, I think I've started doing this one before. I think it's gonna make me log in and stuff. I don't want to do that. 15 hours. But yeah, I'm not all that great in JavaScript. I know enough to get by, and the code assist from the Copilot stuff helps me out a lot. I mean, like, I didn't type most of this right; it just kind of filled it in for me. I still had to know connected callback, but so yeah, junior is again more not. It's not so much like do I know enough. It's like how much direction do you need? Like I've definitely worked with people that don't know anything about Salesforce, but I still consider them senior people because they will figure it out. So if they don't need any direction and you can just say like, I need this problem solved, please. And if you can go off and solve it, then you're a senior person. But if the answer is, oh, you got to tell me how to solve it, then you're a junior. I've worked with people I've worked with people in high school that were extremely capable, and I consider them senior people. This scanning demo was pretty cool. I did this at a Salesforce Saturday last month. And this was just a copy. I didn't code this. This was just copy and paste from the documentation where they show you how to do it. But the whole key to it is that there's a scanning API. This My Scanner, Get Document Scanner. So you import Get Document Scanner from the Lightning mobile capabilities. And by doing this, you can invoke the camera on the phone and have it do character recognition on an image, and you get back a JSON object that gives you coordinates. It gives you text and it gives you coordinates of the text within the picture. So if I had all the time to spend in the world, and maybe this would be a good exercise for a junior to do, right? Is to be able to scan a receipt from a lunch, and then have that automatically create an expense report for me inside of Salesforce. So like create an expense report object with an expense item record, have it do all that for me based on the data that it just scanned, or have it scan my take a picture of my odometer on my car and have it automatically log my mileage. I guess those are the two things that I wanted to do with it. But if you want to find out more about these things, we would just Google this Lightning mobile capabilities. So I'll bring that open. Flip my browser off. Yeah, I just kind of stumbled on this because I was looking at the NFC service is what I was trying to do. And I'm like, oh, what are all these other ones over here? So I've never used, I think I tried the barcode scanner and that worked pretty well too. So I've tried the barcode scanner and the document scanner, and I don't know what any of these other ones are. Biometrics sounds interesting. Let's see. So we say, so to understand, Salesforce implemented a language that's basically TypeScript. Only they tied it deeply to the internals of Salesforce. It's my first experience of the environment. LWC isn't exactly tied to Salesforce. I believe LWC is an open standard that can run on any platform, but the most popular one is on Salesforce. I think technically that's the answer. But I've never seen anybody else use LWC on other systems. Yeah, is it TypeScript? I've used TypeScript before, and I don't know exactly how it relates. So I can't really speak to that, but it's frustrating for a lot of people, I would say, that if when I try to talk other JavaScript developers into building on the Salesforce platform, the answer is usually like, why would I want to limit myself to Salesforce platform? I already know how to code. Why don't I just use my own database? And then their answer is no, I don't want to do Salesforce. So yeah, it's when you look at Apex looks a lot like Java. And yes, LWC is the website. Yeah. That's exactly right. So Apex is all server side, it runs on the server. LWC is all on the client side, running in a browser. And then, yeah, the LWC is a mixture of, bring open VS Code again. In VS Code, you have, it uses convention to decide which files to load. So it looks for a file that ends in HTML that's the same name as the folder above it. So there's HTML, a JavaScript, and an XML to configure it. The XML kind of describes how the component is set up and where it can be used, and you can define other public parameters on the component. And then that feeds into the JavaScript, and the HTML is just used to render. So you have to understand the templating system and how it loads other components. Oh, what's the last project that I've seen that uses Salesforce as a CRM? I actually see a lot of those. I get so in the type of work that I do, I have very large projects, enterprise level, and those usually are not CRM stuff. But then at the other extreme, I get like projects that are just small companies, startups, usually with just maybe less than 10 salespeople. And well, a lot of times actually it's the company was just bought out or they've brought in a new VP of sales, and the VP of sales either wants to get them onto Salesforce or they don't like how Salesforce is currently being used. And those are usually just straight CRM projects. They're using Sales Cloud with leads, accounts, contacts, opportunities, just the basic stuff. So usually I come in and clean up a lot of their page layouts, set up a lot of automations. From a developer point of view, I usually don't get involved much. It's usually all from an admin point of view. I do have kind of a medium-sized project right now where they are using Salesforce as their front end and are using just a lot of the CRM objects like account and contact. and really ignoring all the other functionality. That was actually a dev project where the goal was to synchronize data between Salesforce and Azure. So their team was developing Azure functions that I would then make callouts to from the Salesforce side to push and pull data. So no, I mean I still see definitely a lot of CRM stuff. From an enterprise point of view, it gets a bit more than CRM. Yep. Sugar CRM. Yeah, I don't know much about it. I don't know. I don't even know what Sugar CRM is. Oh, an on-premise and cloud. I don't know. I've been doing Salesforce for over 10 years now. I think less than 11, maybe 11. And I think everyone has always been asking if Salesforce is still going to be around in 5 years. I'll stick with it until nobody wants to do it anymore. I'll move on. I used to be a Microsoft developer. I kind of liked the thing about Salesforce is that I don't have to do as much plumbing as I used to have to do in a Microsoft world. And I don't know if the Microsoft stuff has changed or not, but like in when I write Apex code, yep, to be able to just like do a select and return data was like very hard to do in a Microsoft land. You always had to like configure where your database connection was going to point to and deal with switching things to different environments through connection strings. And it's always like, first I'd have to open the database, and then I'd have to query the database, then I'd have to blah, blah, blah. And it just seemed like a lot of extra work that I had to do. So I feel like I can do stuff a lot faster now. Like to be able to go, like in the example that I did here, to go from the UI all the way down to the database in just like a matter of a few minutes is nice. Salesforce has become an evergreen SaaS, really solidified non-core suppliers to becoming long-standing companies. Interesting. Yeah. What is the next time you're live? I don't know. It was I always have thoughts about just going live all the time while I'm working, but I'm in so many meetings that it would be awkward to do that. I think I'll likely try to go live just every day when I know that I don't have meetings coming up, and probably most of the weekends. I was on earlier today and just sat around for like 4.5 hours doing nothing, a lot of silence. It would be nice if while I was doing it, I could actually show you the projects that I'm working on, but I don't know. I get nervous about my clients not liking me do that. But we'll definitely record that training session and post them. Feel free to connect to me on LinkedIn if you have if you need help on anything. LinkedIn's always the best way to reach out to me. any chance you could show us a marketing cloud example? You know, I don't know, kind of like what you did with LWC, but instead AMP script. Could be a long shot. I got into Marketing Cloud probably 4 or 5 months ago, but then I started learning CPQ and I kind of forgot all the marketing stuff. I do have an org that has one org that has Marketing Cloud and another org that has Pardot, but I don't have them readily available. I wouldn't be able to do it today, but I could resurrect that in the future. I've also done coding to call from Apex into Marketing Cloud. I think it was Marketing Cloud. It may have been Pardot though. I don't remember. Maybe it was Pardot. Anyway, there's APIs to call into those too that you can do some amazing stuff with. I think now that I say it out loud, it's probably Pardot because it was campaign stuff. But I don't even know. I've done just a tiny bit of that AMP script stuff. So yeah, I'll resurrect it at some point, but it's probably, to be honest, it's not going to be for like another month. Right now, I'm very deep in LWC land. What is CPQ? I have an understanding. CPQ is it's about quoting. So you get a new quote object with CPQ, and there's a whole engine for calculating prices of things. So it's a lot of configuration of kind of like, configuring the price books basically to create bundles of products that you want to group together and provide discounts and stuff like that. So it's without CPQ, and you're trying to help, imagine a sales team that has a large catalog of products that they could sell to a customer. And you want to make sure that they always sell product X with product Y, and you can't buy product Y unless you have product Z, and you can't buy product Z if you also have product A, and then calculating prices for all those things too. So without CPQ, we would typically have to code all these things. And I've done, back in the day, used to code like C# stuff to do that stuff. So there's a whole product around that called CPQ. All of that to get to the PDF to send to the client of here's your quote. Both from fixed, like one-time sale of something, and also for recurring subscriptions of things. Like in my business, having a quote for 1 year of Salesforce consulting service, where it'll include maybe 20 hours a week of work, and then giving them a quote for that. CPQ is declarative. Yes, it's all through configuration. I've heard people ask me to do programming for CPQ, and I always ask them what they mean by that. And it's typically just, well, they need a developer that knows how to write Apex, and that also understands the CPQ framework. But I've never been on a project where I had to do CPQ coding. Oh, do I have anything that I could show? No, I don't. But there's a lot of, you can do it through Trailhead. I don't think I have a Trailhead login in this browser. But you can get a developer org that has CPQ in it. is it developer Salesforce? This isn't what I want. Here it is. No, this isn't it either. There's supposed to be like the whole, which type of developer org do you want? Am I not seeing it? Oh, there, because my browser wasn't wide enough. Yeah, so you click this browse trials, and then I think the CPQ is in here. Oh, maybe it's not. I guess you have to go through the trailheads to get the link to it. They probably give you a special link. Oh. Have to be logged in to get to it. It must not be CPQ basics, but one of them will say, click here to get a trial org. Here we go. So there's the link. You can get yourself CPQ. What's the most in-demand Salesforce skill, in my opinion? In demand. I usually get asked the most for LWC and Apex coding. That's probably the most common. Then people will ask for nonprofit experience. Probably communities would be the next. So probably those would be my top three. Maybe flip it the other way around. Maybe communities is more common than nonprofit. But I've seen a lot of increase in nonprofit lately. It also, I mean, it might not be, it might be because these are things that I have experience with. So people are asking me for that stuff because I have experience with it. There might be other things that are in higher demand that people just don't ask me because it's not in my profile. So I guess there's that. I have field service experience, but I get asked about that maybe once a year. I don't see any demand for field service. I was getting asked for CPQ quite a bit, and that's why I got certified on it. Just hitting the ball into the hole. Is that impressive? I guess because he's young. I don't know. Oh my gosh. That would be terrifying to drive on. Facing difficulty resolving the error. I don't know. Read the error. What are typical types of errors? My worst errors are Rolex. I hate dealing with Rolex. I'm surprised that wasn't like the number one. Is it not even in the list? Oh, she didn't even mention Rolex. Know of any organizations who offer sponsorship? The UK market sucks. Ha ha ha. From what I hear, the US market sucks too. So I don't know. I used to work at Thomson Reuters, and there I dealt a little bit with doing sponsors. And I remember, the laws in US were always such that you had to demonstrate or prove that you cannot hire somebody in the United States before you could then sponsor somebody else. I don't know how people argue that these days. I think there's lots of people you could hire within the United States to do these jobs. So I really don't understand how they're doing sponsorships at all. But no, I'm not actively. The last time I talked to a person about a sponsorship last month, he did a sponsorship, and then the employee was a disaster and ended up suing him, and it was just a big fiasco. No, I don't know any companies doing sponsorships. I don't know. I'm a big fan though of doing local work. Like I can't even imagine what life is like in another country, but if I wanted to find organizations that I could help doing Salesforce, I would be like asking people in my town, building relationships with the small businesses in my community and trying to help them. I don't understand why that isn't. Is that not a thing in other parts of the world? Like, does UK just not have small businesses that need help? I don't know. I don't know how it works. I guess the other thing too is that I don't want to work for a huge mega corporation. I'd rather help the small businesses. What? Is there a tornado? Hmm. Right. Hey, thanks for stopping by. See ya, Ab. Ab. Not quite sure how to say your name, but thanks for stopping by. Appreciate chatting. Reboot the Earth. What do they mean by that? You never ever want to turn on bulk import of contacts from any user's mobile device. Never, unless you want the local pizza shop, the school, the neighbors. Yeah. I've been forced on this career break for a while now, and I've been pretty open about it on LinkedIn. Because of that, former colleagues and friends that have started the job search in the last 6 months have been reaching out to me for advice. These are the common themes in our conversations. Keep in mind, I haven't gotten a job yet, so take any advice with a grain of salt. First, yes, it's rough out there, and it's not just you. The ghosting, the referrals not leading anywhere, low salaries, the applications sitting in Workday for months with no status update are all the norm right now. See, doesn't sound like just a UK thing. But where is he? New York. A lot of people are thinking they'll find a job quickly after they get laid off or left their last role, and a lot of times that's just not the case. Unemployment. When filing for unemployment, check in with them to see if they offer any other support. In my case, in New York provides Coursera for free. I'm currently working through my Google Project Management certificate and plan on getting my PMP. Well, I guess that's starting to explain why he hasn't found work yet. If he's trying to do project management, those are roles where when you have a team of people, 10 of 10 people, you might only need one of them to be a project manager, whereas you might have 4 or 5 of them being developers. So you got to do the work that's in high demand. I'm also just guessing maybe they're a developer that's also trying to get project management work. I don't really know. ATS, application tracking system. I can't speak to what recruiters do on their end or how ATS operates, but I have been able to format my resume. So when I upload it, probably 95% of it transfers to the application site. This is a big red flag for me. So it sounds like he's trying to get work by applying places, and I don't think I've ever gotten a job that way. Single column, no images, and clear sections for experience, education, etc. seem to be the best. I use Resi to format mine. I joined when they were having a lifetime membership for free promotion, but I think they have a free tier, a free trial tier. Teal, don't know what that is. The service seems like it's becoming industry standard for job searching right now. It can help you keep track of your applications and give your resume a grade against job description. It's helpful, but it's not going to magically get you a screening call. I don't know what Teal is. Contract roles. Contract roles are great, and I'd take another one in a heartbeat if the opportunity was right. Yeah, me too. It's a different world from being a full-time employee, but it's a great way to expand your network and learn new skills. I mean, really, for me, I would only consider contract roles. I don't know why anyone these days would want to be a W-2 employee. It's just a matter of filling out more paperwork for taxes and learning a little bit of accounting. Certainly, if you're going to be a PMP, you can handle doing that. That way, you can target companies that don't need a full-time employee. You could take on a contract role, 2 or 3 contract roles, and do project management in multiple places. Don't go into one don't go into one expecting to convert to full-time employee, and don't avoid applying. Most contract roles you can leave. Most contract roles you can leave at will. So you can quit them at will, like full-time employment. So don't avoid them. I'm not quite sure. I guess, yeah. So a lot of times you're contracting through a consulting company and you're a W-2 employee for the consulting company, in which case you're quitting the consulting company. You're not quitting the contract. It's just that there's that middleman. So if you can avoid the middleman and you have a contract directly with that client, then you can't just walk away from it. There'll be penalties. How do you keep yourself sane? My biggest tip is to avoid anything job search related outside of normal business hours. That seems odd. Log off at 5 to 6 and don't job search on the weekends. This sounds like horrible advice to me. To fill your time outside of job searching, remember to enjoy your hobbies, connect with friends, and to take care of your health. Personally, I have a dog that gets me outside 3 times a day for walks. I enjoy cooking, video games. Oh, I mean, you shouldn't be doing this stuff. You should be increasing your skills. And don't stop until you find a job. 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock doesn't mean you don't need a job anymore. It's easy to get down on yourself. I don't know. Kind of weird advice to me. I've only been unemployed once. I took a contract position in another state. I was living in Wisconsin, and it was to do Lotus Notes development in St. Louis for MasterCard. I packed up all my stuff in a U-Haul van and moved down there with no place to live. Rented a hotel room for, it may have been a week until an apartment became available that I could move into. Absolutely hated the job, and they made me an offer to convert to full-time, and I declined it, and then they did not extend my contract. And then I was unemployed. I don't remember how long, maybe a month or two before I had enough playing video games, and I found a job. I was not married at the time. I don't even remember how old I was. I was probably 21, 22. Didn't have a lot of bills, so it didn't really matter much. So I guess I can't really relate, unless you're in that position, being laid off with a family, with a mortgage. I don't know how it is, but I've always been the type of person to always be learning. And look, it's past 5 o'clock on a Sunday, and I'm doing work. I'm not playing video games. I don't know what was this other stuff he said he was doing. I do like to cook. Take some time to cook. I cooked breakfast today. I cooked dinner last night. I wish when I have a lot of work to do, I just can't get into the mindset of cooking. And video games keep him connected with friends. I don't really have a lot of friends. So there's that too. Enjoying my hobbies. Working is my hobby. I don't take care of my health. Yeah, I mean, everyone's different. Maybe his advice is good for some people.
Micro, Uber, Spotify. What is everybody? Scott Stafford here. What does Zendesk, Micro, Uber, Spotify, what do they all have in common? Well, they're all using Coefficient. They're linking their data in their Google Sheets or Excel into their CRM or other applications. It is amazing. But I also think that we need to thank them because they're a sponsor of the Talent Stacker Mentorship Program. The mentorship program is bringing together mentors and mentees together, and it's helping everybody in the ecosystem have the opportunity to find their more. So I encourage everybody to personally check out their products, but also reach out to them and really thank them. This is a great opportunity the Talent Stackers is putting together, and they are definitely supporting, and they deserve our thanks. Bye.
Mhm. So as you tinker around in this app, you can click each one of these. So I've added where it'll close it. After you click on it, it turns it from yellow to green the second you go into it. That's probably not good enough. Like, I don't know if we need them to actually touch each field within here. Like for my emergency contact information, I don't have it filled in, but it's still green. So it's probably an issue, but I'm not quite sure how to tell what it's an issue for because obviously, like, they shouldn't have to check one of these boxes, right? So I'm not quite sure logically how to differentiate between a field that they need to touch versus they don't. And I could use some help getting ideas around that. There's also other sections where I think only certain fields should show if they answer other questions in a certain way, dependent pick list stuff. And I see some of that logic in the lightning pages that are defined for the pilot record, the pilot history record. So I still need to spend the time to go through that and bring it over. I think there was also logic in a PDF somehow. I remember way back when that we could probably pull some of those rules out of. For this air, how many make and models? If you right now it only shows one aircraft, but if I were to change this to more, then it shows more aircrafts. If I click right now, the submit button is disabled, and once they all turn green, then the submit will enable. And I will keep doing that. So I'll submit, and now it saved the spirit record as an active mode. I don't have anything in place to actually update the contact at this point, but it's saved a real version of it. Shouldn't say real. It's not the right word. So if I query, it's saving a new active version. And when this, but I don't really have, I don't know, like what should happen after you submit it, right? Like, should the form go away? Should it kick them back to somewhere else? Should these, I don't know what to do after you submit. So I need help to come up with ideas for that. But right now, if you were to come in here and then refresh, this is now getting the data directly from the contact again because there are no drafts that are out there. I can save it and I query again. I didn't mean to click save query, run query. So there's the draft that I just saved. When you submit, it deletes all of the drafts. So there's that. I'm probably not happy with the layout of all of these things, but maybe just one column wide is fine. I'm not sure. Got the text areas in here now. It only shows 2 lines. I don't know if that's good enough, but the person could expand that to whatever. But on the phone, I don't think you can do that. I need a better place to show like what it just did. Not happy with that. I still have to change the look of these buttons to match what's in the Figma. Still a lot of work to do. This doesn't show broken in the real app. I don't know. There's something with my session that just kind of breaks every now and then. But overall, this is coming along. It's still got probably a lot of little things to do still. So just wanted to show you.
some likes. Yes. I need to see my likes. I got some likes.
Totally me.
Yes. Whew. Oh, thank God. Oh, I thought I didn't get any likes. I need to see my likes.
Gonna take a break for some food. I'm just gonna leave the stream open. I'll be back in about 20 minutes.
This will increase your browser support up to that 90th percent because most browsers only support it with this prefix and only about 50% or so support it without the prefix currently. Also, to get around those 10% of browsers that don't support it at all, even with the prefix, what you want to do is use the @supports property for your CSS. So we can go in here, we can say @supports, and we could just say position sticky, and you would want to put all of these different prefixes inside of this as well, inside of an OR. And in here, we just want to select that list header again, and we want to say position sticky, top of 0, and then inside of our normal list header here, we want to use position relative, since that is what sticky essentially falls back to if it is not actually supported. So if we do this, now in browsers that are not supported with sticky headers, we'll just get a relative header just like normal, but in browsers like my browser, Chrome here, that supports sticky position, it'll now work exactly as we want it to. So I hope you guys learned something from this quick look into sticky positioning with CSS. It's really a quite unique way to position elements and incredible
5 years ago. So I hope support for sticky is much better now. I'm going to take a quick look. Internet Explorer does not support. That's fine. Safari requires WebKit prefix. So I probably have to add these.
I'm going to get to the B header here of different elements. So we have A, B, C, D, and apply our position. I'm going to give it a top list to get that list of element fix browsers currently fixed. So sticky, and these just stand for the different browsers that we have.
Oh, sticky. Okay, I've added all that. But I think I'm going to call it a night.